This is the well-known by now Citroen C5 X7, the Tourer version, as we can see here, or Estate. And to some, this is the last of a generation, the last hydro-pneumatic Citroen. And yes, this is me right here saying hi to all of you. Now, these Estate versions apparently had an Achilles heel right at this connection point of the wiring loom, where the wiring passes from the chassis to the tailgate. Now, I had to work on this client's car multiple times, and yes, this car is no exception to all the others, meaning that this too had the problem of the rear tail light, the rear stoplight, the third stoplight stopped working, and I had to fix that. And another issue with a broken ground wire inside this thicker wiring loom here, which I also had to fix. So I thought it's a good idea to share whatever information I gathered through the years about this connection point right here, and what I have done to repair anything that was broken through the years. So before going on and disassembling this whole wiring loom, as we can see here, the wiring loom goes into this plastic cover, and it moves all the way from the side of the door, and it enters the door right around here, I think, or here, yeah, probably here. I don't remember correctly, but we'll find out in a while when we will remove this whole plastic piece. However, before we move on to removing this plastic piece, I would like to observe what I have done here through the years in order to make any problems go away and not appear again. That's the key word here in every repair job that I want to address. I'm trying to make things not happen again. So in the case of the the third stoplight, it stopped functioning, of course, and after removing the rear spoiler, I found out that the wiring was following a route something like this. It was moving to the left and then down, and it ended up here. However, the wiring loom was entering the spoiler at this point, and as you can see, I've changed things a little bit, and now the wiring enters about a centimeter to the right, and it forms quite a gentle curve. That is because the original wiring loom that the factory installed was too short, and that, the being too short, is the reason it broke off in the first place. So I decided to make it a little bit longer. I just added small pieces of wire. As you can see here, the wires are pretty exposed, but it's not a problem. Yes, this is not a problem. I may have to address this at a later point, but for now, they still work. So, and as you can see, these wires are a very small wire gauge. I'm not really sure of the number. I think it's beyond 20, 24, 28 AWG. In square millimeters, I think this is equivalent to 0.22 square millimeters, this wire gauge. So yeah, this is a very thin wire, because apparently it doesn't carry much current because the third stoplight right there is LED. So not much current, not many amps going through that wire. So I spliced these wires. I essentially it was the negative wire that was cut, but I also cut the positive wire too, and I installed small pieces, just small pieces, around 10 centimeters, just around 10 centimeters of wire onto each one, and I made it a bit longer so as to accommodate this nice curve here like this. And this way, now when the door is closed, this curve folds into here, into all this space here, folds nicely into this space here, and it doesn't bend. It doesn't bend like that. It doesn't bend onwards like this. Whereas in the original position, it was bending like this. It was coming all the way here. That's why it broke. So this problem fixed. However, this part here was also moving. Okay? So I had to make this part stop moving too. And as you can see, I thought of the simplest solution ever. I installed a zip tie here, interlocking with another zip tie on the bigger rubber boot. I don't know if it's visible on camera. Let's see it from another angle, if we can make it out from here. Yes, we can see. Yep. Where is it? Yes, oh, that's the one here. One zip tie here, and on this zip tie we interlock the other zip tie from underneath, and this way this rubber boot makes this bend, and it stays like that. It doesn't move out or in. Okay, it stays like that. So the only movable part of the small rubber boot is this one. Okay, and it makes a gentle curve when the door is closed. It makes a gentle curve inside there, in this whole area, which is plenty of room in my opinion, and it doesn't bend the wire. And that was done more than 5 years ago. Okay, for extra protection, I've added this cable management plastic spiral thing, which also works fine. Also to prevent any rubbing from vibrations and stuff. And also, I've used, don't know if you can see it, yes, I've used some self-vulcanizing tape to insulate the tip of the rubber boot and all the way inside in the, in the wiring, but apparently that didn't work as expected at this point, but it works perfectly. It worked perfectly at this point. So yeah, this exposed part, it is like this for more than 2 years now, but it doesn't matter because the third stoplight still works, and this wire hasn't broken off again. So a lesson learned here. If you ever have this problem with a third stoplight, it's a good thing to make the wires a bit longer and try to accommodate this nice gentle bend here. It will help things out. The other major issue with this rubber boot part over here is the thicker rubber boot accommodating the other wires going into the rear door. Now that, I think, is a design flaw. That here, personally, I think is a design flaw because they wanted to pass the wires from that point on the chassis, and they wanted them to go in the door at that point. So you really cannot have a gentle bend when the door is closing, right? So when the door is closing, this part here bends a little too much. And through the years, the client had a negative wire cut inside of here. A ground wire was cut in here. Okay, and it was a little bit of pain in the backside to find it. So the symptoms, the symptoms were really funny. Okay, so the symptoms were he was pushing the button to open the tailgate, and the rear wiper was moving a little bit upward for no reason. When that ground wire was totally cut, the user would engage the reverse gear, and instead of the reverse lights being turned on the tailgate, instead of the reverse lights, the reverse lights are here. Yes, the reverse lights are here. Instead of the reverse lights being turned on, the rear wiper was turned on. Okay, started working when the user was engaging the reverse gear. So definitely something was wrong, and that led me to open up this whole rubber boot here, to find out what is wrong. And sure enough, there was a broken wire here. Now, I think it's worth sharing my knowledge about how to remove this rubber boot here, in case anybody wants to remove it properly. Now, the other part of this wiring loom is this cover here. Now, this cover here has 4 + 1 connection points, where it is held in place. One of them is here, second one is here, third one is here, and the fourth one is right here. And all these 4 are just plastic safety pins. These are not screws, they're plastic. The only real screw is this one here. Oops, this is a T20, and it's a real screw which attaches in the metal part, and it keeps this part in place, and all the other part is held in place by these plastic pins. And actually you can remove this by using just a small Torx bit and just twisting and pulling out like so. With a little bit of patience, of course. After it comes out a little bit, focus dear, thanks. After it comes out, you pull it out, and here it is. Just a simple plastic safety pin. It's a safety pin because the plastic, because the rest of it is in there. When you remove the plastic, you pull the rest of it out. So try not to break this. This is a plastic. Be gentle with all the plastic parts, in not only in this car but in all modern cars for that matter. And sure enough, this piece comes out with just one hand if you're gentle with it. And on the inside, here's what these plastic tabs look like. Over here and over here. And the last one is a hole for the metal screw. Focus, dear. Yeah, okay. Don't worry about it. And that's all about this plastic piece. So gently we put it aside, and as I correctly remembered, the wiring loom enters. The wiring loom goes all the way through the side and enters into the door at that point right here, right underneath the tail light. Here it enters the door. Perfect. Nice. There are some points here. Let's see, there are some points here. One is visible here, which hold it in place. One here, one more here, one more here. Yep, these zip ties hold the wiring in place at these plastic bases. How should we call them? I don't know what they are called. So they keep them in place right here. And the only thing I had to make, the only cut I had to make in order to be able to move this rubber boot backwards is this cut here, and even that I'm not even sure I did that. I think that was from the factory. I'm not really sure I did that, but maybe I did, because yeah, there are some additional wires here going on. I had to install some additional wiring for some additional lighting to install these tail lights. Focus, dear. Thanks. These additional red lights on the inside. The wiring for these lights passes through here. So yeah, I had to cut this rubber boot right at this point, but no more, in order to accommodate the additional wiring. Yes. So yes, that's how this rubber boot is working. It works right here. Now, next point, in order to remove this rubber boot, this big screw here. Also a T30, you can remove it, and this is one of the screws that holds the rear spoiler in place. Just to keep that in mind. Okay. Try not to lose any screws you remove. It doesn't make you look good when you remove two screws and you insert only one. So this one opens up. And now I think we might be able to insert a small screwdriver here, pry this out, come on baby, and with a little bit of persuasion it opens up and you can remove it. So with the plastic base out of the way, we have more space to maneuver, and we can now address the other important part: how to remove this rubber seal without breaking anything. Let's see. This plastic connection point right here consists of two parts: the rubber sealing part that you see on the outside, and a plastic piece on the inside. The proper way to remove it in order not to break something is you first remove the outer part, the rubber part, and then you remove the plastic part. You pull it out, and then you insert the rubber part into the plastic part while they are out, and then they are ready to be reinstalled again. Let me show you what I mean. As I said, it's not possible to remove this with one hand. You need both hands to remove it. So the most important part, I believe, is right here. This plastic piece. This plastic piece right here is the base where this rubber boot sits. This nice groove here enters this plastic piece, and then it slips inside there, and it is held in place with 4 tabs, one here, one underneath here, another one here, right here, and another one down there. 4 plastic tabs. Now I urge you to be cautious at this point as to how much you will push these tabs. In order to remove this plastic piece, you push these tabs down. See? I push it just a little bit and I can move it out. Look at that. Okay? You need to be careful how much you push these tabs. If one of these tabs break, then I don't think this rubber will seal perfectly. I don't believe it will seal perfectly. All these 4 tabs need to be intact in order for this rubber piece, for this rubber part to seal right at this point. And as you can see, since this part was sealing perfectly, the metal, the surface all around here is clean, right? Perfectly clean. So this means it was working nicely. However, you need to be careful how much you push these tabs, because if you break one, I don't think it will seal quite nicely. And if it doesn't seal, guess what? Water will penetrate in the roof lining, and if water starts penetrating the inside of the car and the roof lining, you can guess what will happen in a short time. So once we remove this, we gently pry out the other 2 and we can remove it. Okay, let's see if we can work with the one underneath. Come on, baby, come on, come on. Okay, you pry it just enough. You push them just enough and no more. That's what I mean by saying you need to be gentle with these plastic parts. And And that's how you remove the plastic part too, without breaking anything. Now you insert this groove into this groove. Actually, you insert this plastic part into this groove, and then it will be ready to be reinserted again into its position and seal. I'll need both hands for that. And this is how the finished part looks like when you reinsert it back into the plastic base. Let's shed some light here, right? So you can put the plastic base over the rubber groove immediately after you pull it out, or you can wait until you finish whatever job you have to do here and do this afterward. The fact remains that this small assembly needs to be like this in order to be able to be inserted. Focus, dear. Thank you. In order to be inserted into the opening there and be able to seal again. And that whole process needs to be done in order to access this wiring loom that goes into the rear door of the X7 Tourer. Okay, some additional information we could gather here. Here we can see the job I had to do for the rear stoplight. These here are the two original wires of the third stoplight. One of them is yellow-green. That's the ground wire. The yellow-green is the ground wire, and the pure yellow is the plus wire. As you can see, I cut them both, installed spade connectors, and installed two new wires, small pieces, about 10 centimeters of small wires, 0.22 square millimeters. They extend inwards, and that allows us to have this gentle bend right here. So effectively we've lengthened the wires just a little bit, just enough to have this gentle curve and not have any problem again with the third stoplight. The original wires, as you can see here, I don't know if you can see, let's try and shed some light from here. As you can see here, the original wires were going into that insulation, which is nice, but they were too short. So I cut them right here at the connection point, inserted the wires, and lengthened the wires just enough. And the other piece of information I would like to share with you is regarding this thicker wiring loom there. I can't really open it up right now. Focus, dear. Thanks. But from what I can remember, there are two thick wires in that wiring loom right there. Oops. Let's forget the light right here. In here there are two ground wires, two thick ground wires, yellow and green in color also, and usually these thick wires broke off. So if you have some mechanism in the door that does not work at some point, be it the rear wiper or the tail lights, the reverse light, you know, or whatever, maybe the powered tailgate, the models that are equipped with a power tailgate. If you notice some weird behavior and some weird symptoms, check out this wiring loom check out this wiring loom for any broken wires in here. Once you move it out, you can move it up from here. Look at that. You can move it up from here, and you can move it a little bit, just a little bit, in order to reveal the broken wires in here, right? I had, as I said, I had a broken ground wire in here, and I had to connect it with spade connectors, and it's okay now. And now that it bends, it doesn't have a problem for some reason. For some reason, it still works. It never broke again. So yeah, that's one piece of information right there. So why don't we put everything back now? And we can push that gently back. And push it firmly in place. Until you hear that satisfying click. That means it's in place. And you can check it out by moving this flange up and checking it if it actually is sitting in place. Next step, install the zip tie to keep it again in that position. Perfect. And now let's install this piece here. Now, truth be told, this should be a little bit longer. I can feel it being too tight here. This is too short. It should have been a little bit longer. Yep, I don't like this. I don't like this. From the get-go, I didn't like this, but what can you do? You can't do much. So yeah, that's how things are. Now let's put back this plastic piece and we're all done. This plastic piece has this groove here, this opening here, which goes into this groove here. Focus, dear. Oh, come on. Oh, please, thanks. Into this groove here. And again, here you do need both hands in order to do this right. I don't know if I'll be able to do it right with one hand. Oh, well, looks like it worked. Oh, it kind of worked. Yes. Where is it? It's there. Okay. The screw hole is in place. Okay. Now the point to be careful is this part here. This needs to go in there. And then you insert this part here. Okay. That sits nicely. Okay, that sits nicely. If it sits nicely from underneath, from the inside, everything will sit perfectly without any problems. Right. If you put everything right, there shouldn't be anything sticking out or anything weird. Yes. First, let's put this screw in place. Now these plastic pieces, these plastic pins, are just securing pins, which means you can continue screwing them in. They won't do any better, they won't do any harm. They'll just keep spinning. Okay. And now everything is in place and in position, and everything works fine. That is the whole lowdown. That's all the information I have about this connection point on the Citroen C5 X7. A similar connection point exists on the other side of the chassis, and that accommodates the rubber hose for the rear sprinkler, for the rear windshield sprinkler. And that, as you can see and as you can understand, is also changed because that broke too. That is another point of interest in the C5 X7. The plastic hose that comes out from the car and goes into the spoiler for the sprinkler. That plastic hose, the original plastic hose, tends to break, and it was replaced at this model using silicone hose, the expensive type. You can also use the cheap silicone hose, the one used in aquariums. It will work equally fine. However, the expensive type was what we have, and that's what we've used. And as you can see, I also installed this cable management spiral wrap here for extra protection, and it still works fine without any leaks. That is a 90-degree plastic elbow used for gardening hoses and gardening in general, and it works fine. And the zip tie holds the silicone tube in place just fine. All this is done, more than 5 years ago, and it still works fine. And as a last point of interest, the gas struts. The gas struts, these are not the original gas struts. The owner replaced them with, as you can see, Magneti Marelli GS0893, the code of the gas strut, with 550 Newton of force each. I believe the originals were 540 or 530 Newtons, or maybe 500 each. I don't really remember. So he replaced them at some point with 550 Newtons each, and that is a little bit better because it gives the following result. You lift the tailgate, lift up to here, and then it lifts itself. So you lift it around 20-30 centimeters, and then it lifts itself. So 550 Newtons struts, they work fine, in case anyone is interested. So, dear friends, that is my 2 cents of wisdom regarding this sensitive point on the Citroen C5 X7. From all the experience I had with it, I wish to thank you all for visiting. Any questions or comments? Yeah, feel free to leave them below. Have a happy new year and take care. See ya.